Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, February 19th, 2024. My name is Sam Shalhoub, and it's time for your daily dispatch. So first off today, according to Zero Hedge, U.S. banks saw a $65 billion deposit flight last week. In other words, $65 billion leaving deposits. The total bank deposits this year to date are down $180 billion. What are we at? Mid-February? And it's down $180 billion? It's coming. There was, on Friday of last week, there was a large, huge fire in Kissimmee, Florida. It didn't get much press, which is interesting, even in the alternate media, but it was a huge plastic pot manufacturing facility, and I saw videos and photos there. Huge plumes of toxic smoke. Now, I don't have much other information there, but are we looking at more of these unexplained fires? Well, it very well could be. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about Putin and Russia. There's been so much that's been going on lately there. Tucker does the interview with Putin. Putin seems to be a very, balanced individual in that interview. He seems to represent more of American values than most American politicians do at this point. Well, Putin also banned GMO foods years ago. And that gives you another kind of insight into what he's thinking, which in my opinion is a very good thing in terms of getting rid of the GMOs. Well, a couple of days ago, a gentleman, Navalny, that I'm sure you've all heard of, was supposedly killed or died in a Russian prison. Well, I want you to take a little step back. And if you'll remember a few days ago, there was this imminent space threat that the Pentagon came out with. They were kind of cryptic in terms of what they were saying it was. And then it came out that, we think it's Russia deploying nuclear weapons in space to take out our space satellites. Just sounds hokey to me. Well, then, you get this thing with Navalny being killed or dying or whatever actually happened. In my opinion, this is just another way for them to create a boogeyman, meaning Putin and Russia. Another way for them to fund more in Ukraine that most Americans, if not all Americans, are saying that's enough, no more. It's interesting that the timeline that these things happen, and I'd love to hear your opinion on it. I'm just kind of spitballing here and giving you my opinion, but it doesn't seem to add up in terms of what they're trying to make Putin out to be. And again, tell me what you guys think. So there is reportedly a trucker strike, for lack of a better term. Apparently, truckers are going to start denying delivering loads into New York City. Some people are saying that this is based on the judgment that was levied against President Trump late last week, and that they're standing in unison with him. Well, that may be the case, it may not be, but it does sound like truckers have had it with New York, and they're going to stop delivering loads, and that's supposed to start today. If something like that happens, and I think the trucker convoy that went to Texas was great, but I didn't see a lot of actionable things that came from that, if you know what I mean. Now, if this is true, and the truckers do unite and say, we're not going to be sending it, does that mean that they're going to start doing this with other blue states? Well, your guess is as good as mine, but this seems to me like something significant that could take place. And then finally today, Brazilian leftist leader Lula da Silva compared Israel's actions in Gaza to Adolf Hitler's campaign to exterminate the Jews. I find it very interesting that this very left-leaning leader is going against some of his, what I would assume, are pals in other nefarious governments around the world. Now, this is just speculation on my part. I'd love to hear your opinions on it. But it seems to me that there's a lot of infighting in different countries around the world. And as we all know, there are good portions of these governments and there are bad, including our own. And now, are they all starting to fight against one another? Well, it sure seems that way to me. And in my opinion, that's a good thing. Let's flush them all out and get rid of all of them. So that's all we have for today. If you'd like to support this channel, as many of you know, I'm working on upgrading this podcast with cameras and lighting and all that. But if you'd like to support this channel, you can go to MyPillow, or you can go to simply buy me a coffee. It's in my links in my bio on TikTok and in the description on all other platforms. And in the meantime, I hope you have a great week, and we'll talk again soon.